All right, guys. So I'm going to read some quotes here by the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer on women. And these are hilarious quotes, and they're hilarious because they're true. Now, this is a little bit of a different vibe on this channel in regards to the topic of women. And you might be a bit surprised initially, but I'll get into exactly why I'm doing these quotes. Now, Schopenhauer was claimed to be like the original black pillar or the original red pillar. I would say definitely more so on the black pill side of things. I mean, he was a nihilist. He's been called almost like the father of nihilism. So anyway, let's get into some of these quotes. Some of these quotes are brutal but hilarious. All right, so here we go. In their hearts, women think that it is men's business to make money and theirs to spend. The nobler and more perfect a thing is, the later and slower it is in arriving at maturity. A man reaches the maturity of his reasoning powers and mental faculties hardly before the age of 28, a woman at 18. Women are directly adapted to act as the nurses and educators of our early childhood for the simple reason that they themselves are childish, foolish, and short-sighted. Women may be talented, but cannot be geniuses, as they are always subjective. Oh my days. Men are by nature merely indifferent to one another, but women are by nature enemies. Oh, here we go. Here's a good one. Women remain children all their lives, for they always see only what is near at hand, cling to the present, take the appearance of a thing for reality, and prefer trifling matters to the most important. And then the last one from Schopenhauer: the weakness of their reasoning faculty also explains why women show more empathy for the unfortunate than men, and why, on the contrary, they are inferior to men as regards to justice and less honorable and conscientious. And I want to throw in one from Bukowski, one of my favorite authors, Charles Bukowski. He has a quote that says, "Once a woman turns against you, forget it. They can love you, then something turns in them. They can watch you dying in a gutter, run over by a car, and they'll spit on you." Now, those are some pretty damning and brutal quotes on women. Quite funny. And all true, generally speaking. And that might sound like a surprise to you because of the videos I've done and talking about women. You know, I'm a fan of women, and I'm not a nihilist when it comes to women. I don't think women are evil, generally speaking, or the devil and whatnot, and what so much of the red pill and the black pill side of things will try to proclaim on the internet. I tell you guys, get out, touch grass. There's plenty of good women in the world. I believe I am married to one as well. But here's the thing, guys. This is why I wanted to do this video. It's because I'm also a realist. Like I said, I have taken the black pill. Sorry, I have taken the red pill. I call myself a red pillar. As much as I like to call out red pill content and ideas and content creators and so on, there's a lot of truth in it. I'm a realist. I understand this stuff, that generally speaking, there is a side to women that can be brutal, that can be harsh. I get the fundamentals of their nature. I get that they're wired so much for survival, and they often require a man to meet those needs. And if you're not meeting those needs, you know, you'll be shown the door often, and many other things. I get that. I'm not sitting here. I don't do these videos saying about there's good women and go out there and be yourself and yada, yada, yada with a blue pill, you know, mindset. I haven't got these rose tinted spectacles on. I know that you go into this stuff at risk that you might get burned, and burned horribly by women, because millions of men do every single day. And vice versa, of course. I don't want you to take my videos and not understand that women have these sides to them that can seem harsh and brutal. You know, a lot of women, they need the red pill themselves. They probably need it more than men these days because they don't even understand, not even really fully aware, like consciously aware of their own nature and why they think the way they do, why they're attracted to the way, what they're attracted to and whatnot. You know, they kind of need waking up a little bit to themselves. You know, they have their nature, they have their instincts, but in many cases they need to become consciously aware so they can sort of override that, you know, become just better human beings. You know, look at bigger picture stuff and get out of the solipsistic mindsets. But here's the thing, like I know the how difficult it is to find these type of women, how difficult it is to find a good woman. But I don't agree with the notion very much, the overriding notions of the red pill and the black pill is like, it's almost like an avoidance mechanism, you know, or like MGTOW and whatnot. Now, if you've been in multiple relationships and you've been burned multiple times in bad ways, then I can understand why you just say, you know what, I give up. I'm just not going to bother anymore. But if you've been in one, maybe two, or maybe you haven't even been there in a relationship yet, and you just believe that's the way women are, and you're just avoiding relationships with women because you know that they have this capacity, they know they can hurt you, I think that's just a little bit of a cowardly approach. I really do. You're scared. And you're scared because it's genuinely what you want. And so these guys, they generally want, most guys want, what do they want? Most guys really want a good woman by their side, who they can raise a family with. Especially good men, right? And I see a lot of good men take in this red pill, black pill mindset in its current form and say, yeah, all women are toxic. Well, I'm just going to avoid a relationship then. But they really want that thing. They're not going after it because they're scared. They're scared of what can happen to them or what maybe has happened to them in the past. And the mindset I approach, and I think you need to approach, is, look, you have to understand that women have this capacity to them. They're not, you know, angels and all things, you know, good, nice and spice, whatever that saying is. There comes risk. You might get hurt, you might get burned, you might make the wrong choice. But ask yourself, if that's what you really want, if you do want a good relationship and you do want a family, don't fall for this approach of just running away because of what might happen. And then you have to embrace the possibility of the worst happening. This is something that's been key for me in becoming more of a securely attached person. You have to be with someone and not look at it like, well, I'm with someone now, this is always going to be the case. You know, she's just great, she's perfect, nothing bad's going to happen, right? That's very much a blueprint mindset. You should approach this mindset and you should visualize the worst case scenario. This is what I do. This is what I had to do after a rough period of my relationship with my wife. I had to visualize losing her. I had to visualize her leaving me, you know, getting rid of me, cheating on me, whatever it is, worst case scenario. And I had to visualize, okay, what would I do? You know, from the practical steps of like, okay, where do I go? Where do I move to? You know, do I get a flat? Do I go to a hotel? Do I go to a friend's house initially? Blah, blah. All these steps. I had to visualize my life and the next steps and visualize, actually, I'd be okay. I'd figure it out. Life will go on. And that's how you need to approach it. And you need to approach it, your relationship. Like, I love my wife. She's a great woman, right? But I know there's going to be capacity there for some things to go wrong and her to maybe hurt me. And I have to hold that in my mind. I have to hold that possibility because if it ever did happen, then the worst thing would be for me to be in complete and utter shock and surprise. Like, what? Like, you're capable of this? What the hell? That's when, you know, so much of like this trauma and almost like PTSD happens with guys. So don't approach it with such naivety. But don't avoid it either. If you ask yourself, you're honest with yourself, what you really, really want, don't avoid it. Don't run away. Just because you know that capacity is there. Otherwise, that's just you being a coward. You being scared. And I don't know about you, this side of the internet, right? Men's self-improvement, manosphere is about masculinity. So much talk around masculinity is courage. And yet so many of these guys are scared to even get in relationships because they're scared to get hurt. Comes with it, guys. What do you think?